Bless you. So, let's see if she, let's get it right. Make sure she's there. Okay.
Hare Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. Chapter 9 answers by citing the Lord's version, and today's text is number 40. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Text number 40, please repeat. Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dhammapatir.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dhammapatir.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Please chant.
Prajapatir Dhammapatir. Prajapatir Dharmapatir. Ekada Niyaman Yaman. Ekada Niyaman Yaman. Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan. Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan. Atishtat Svartakam Yaya. Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dhammapatir.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya. Prajapatir Dhammapatir. Ekada Niyaman Yaman. Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan. Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya.
Atishtat Svartakam Yaya. Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Prajapatir Dharmapatir.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Ekada Niyaman Yaman.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Bhadram Prajanam Anvichchan.
Atishtat Prajapatir Dharmapatir
Ekada Nami Yamam
Ekada Yaman
Bhadram Prajanam Avdischan
Bhadram Prajanam Anviksham
Atistat Svarta Kamyaya
Atishtat Swartakam Yaya
Anybody else?
Prajapatir Dharmapatir
Prajapatir Dharmapatir
Yamam
Ekada Yaman Yaman Bhadram Prajanam Anviksham Atishtat Swartakam Yaya
Word for word synonyms, please repeat. Prajapati,
Prajapati,
the forefather of all living entities.
the forefather of all living entities.
Dharmapati,
Dharmapati,
the father of religious life.
the father of religious life.
Ekada,
Ekada,
once upon a time.
once upon a time.
Niyaman,
Niyaman,
rules and regulations.
rules and regulations.
Yaman,
Yaman,
principles of control.
principles of control.
Bhadram,
Bhadram,
welfare.
welfare.
Prajanam,
Prajanam,
of the living beings.
of the living beings.
Anvichchan,
Anvichchan,
desiring.
desiring.
Atishtat,
Atishtat,
situated.
situated.
Svarta,
Svarta,
interest.
own interest.
Kamyaya,
Kamyaya,
so desiring.
so desiring.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. Purport. One cannot be situated in an exalted position without having undertaken a regulative life of rules and regulations. An unrestricted life of sense gratification is animal life. And Lord Brahma, in order to teach all concerned within the jurisdiction of his generations, taught the same principles of sense control for executing higher duties. He desired the welfare of all as servants of God, and anyone desiring the welfare of the members of his family and generations must conduct a moral religious life. The highest life of moral principles is to become a devotee of the Lord, because a pure devotee of the Lord has all the good qualities of the Lord. On the other hand, one who is not a devotee of the Lord, however qualified he may be in the mundane sense of the term, cannot be qualified with any good quality worthy of the name. The pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma and persons in the chain of disciplic succession, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. And Srila Prabhupada's purport. Translation again. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. So we've quoted before from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, where Sanat Kumar instructs Prithu Maharaj. And he says that there's no greater obstacle to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization. Everybody from the micro to the demigods. Everybody is acting out of self-interest. Whether it's immediate self-interest or extended self-interest, like my nuclear family or my, neighborhood or whatever it is. So Sanat Kumar instructs Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is getting coronated, right? He's going to be the king. And Sanat Kumar does not come to him, the Kumars, whose spokesman is Sanat, they do not come to him to instruct him on how to rule and how to conquer and how to manage your treasury and how to, manage your military. Rather, what do they tell the king? They tell King Prithu that the most important subject matter is self-realization. And you as a king are supposed to wish the welfare of your citizens, just like here we're reading Lord Brahma, the head of our sampradaya, not only the head of our sampradaya, but he's the forefather of all the living entities of the universe, so he's the great-great-great-grandfather. So like that, Sanat Kumar tells Prithu Maharaj that as the king you're supposed to work for and desire the best, topmost self-interest of each and every citizen. And to do that, he says, one has to understand what that highest self-interest is, which is self-realization. So he says there's no greater obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing. So, there's a lot of sound vibration going on in the world today, whether in written form or audio form, digital form. 99.9999% of it has nothing to do with self-realization. So our leaders, whether they're political leaders or medical leaders or educational leaders or social leaders, whatever, family leaders, they're not working for our self-interest. So here we see that Lord Brahma, because he desired the highest self-interest for all of his citizens, if you will, every living entity that's going to be, produced from him and the next Prajapatis, in order to work for the self-interest of others, he engaged himself in a life dedicated to regulative principles. Prabhupada writes elsewhere that material attachment and spiritual advancement go ill together. They don't mix. Material attachment and spiritual advancement. The two don't meet. They go ill together. So how are we going to make spiritual advancement if we're materially attached? The answer is, you won't. So many times we raise our hand at the end of Bhagavatam class. I have a question, a practical, down-to-earth, take-home point, application point. I don't feel like I'm making any advancement. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for so many years or decades, whatever. I don't feel like I'm making any advancement. What should I do? There's no adjustment. There's nothing to be done except give up material attachment. So in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, he asks Krishna that, Arjuna wants to make spiritual advancement, but he recognizes that there's material attachments. So he inquires from Krishna, what is it that drives me, pushes me like an external force, just pushing me against my will to do things that I don't feel like I actually desire to do. They're not in my self-interest. They're increasing my material attachment. And, what is it? And Krishna says it's karma, or material desire. Material desire means material attachment. One has to purify the mind of this propensity for the mind to go out and seek gratification through the senses. So then Arjuna says, well, how is one supposed to control the mind? The mind is always wandering all over the place. Ooh, look at that. Contemplating this, right? From contemplation of the sense objects, what happens? One becomes attached to that sense object. You can't get it out of your mind. I keep seeing that billboard every time I drive to work in the morning. I keep seeing that billboard advertising such and such. And I never heard of it before. It's some new thing, But I see it every day as I drive down the expressway. I see this billboard advertising this sense object. And after seeing it a few times, I can't get it out of my mind. And so then I start desiring that thing. So anyway, from contemplation of the sense objects, attachment arises and then lust develops. So Arjuna asks Krishna, well, how am I going to control my mind? Because it's always going over here to contemplate that sense object, and going over here to contemplate that sense object. And Krishna says, and so Arjuna says, I think it's impossible to control the mind. He just wants to quit. It's not possible. And Krishna says, well, it's possible, but you have to practice detachment and proper practice, suitable practice. So what is that detachment and suitable practice? So here, this verse tells us that it's a life of regulation. So most of us don't like rules and regulations. We don't like any boundaries set on us or time schedules. We just want to be free and do whatever we want, whatever we want. So, and we think that's freedom. And then following rules and laws, you can't cross the red light, all these rules and everything. We think that's restrictive, like I'm being oppressed or something. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna that, he says, Raga Dvesha Vimukhtaistu Vishayan Indriyaishchaman Atma Vaishyar Vidye Yadma Sadamavikachati. He says to Arjuna that these regulative principles of how to utilize the mind and senses and how not to utilize the mind and senses, these are regulative principles of freedom. They're not regulative principles of oppression and repression. They're regulative principles of freedom. They're meant to make one a hero. Right now, we're not heroes. We're slaves to the mind and senses. But the soul, and it has this opportunity in human form of life, the soul is meant to become the hero, to be the master. So Krishna says that a person free from all attachment and aversion, attachment and aversion are two sides of the same coin. Don't just flip from one side of the coin to the other side of the coin, you're still part of the coin. So attachment and aversion. One who's free from those and is able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So we were reading earlier in the 9th chapter, 2nd canto, that Lord Brahma performed great austerities, right? You heard the word tapa, and you wonder when such austerity for 100 or 1,000 years of celestial years. And the Lord appeared to him, and he benedicted Brahma. That as a result of your incredible austerity, I benedict you. And what was that benediction that Lord Brahma obtained? Because he pleased Krishna through his austerity. That's why he appeared before Lord Brahma. I'm so pleased. Not just mundane austerity, like it's really, 100 degrees outside. We're going to build a ring of fire and sit in the middle of it. Or it's freezing cold outside, like go up to Michigan or something in the winter, and we're going to crack the ice on Lake Michigan and go in with just our little bathing suit on and sit in the ice cold water. Not that kind of austerity, devotional austerity. So Krishna became so pleased with Lord Brahma's devotional austerity that he appeared before him. And he said, my dear Brahma, because I'm so pleased with you, I'm giving you a benediction. Remember what that benediction was?
He said two things. First was just being able to see me as I am. So the best of all benediction. Then he also said, let my name, form, and everything I will give you.
Yes. So he said to Lord Brahma that everything about me will be revealed within your heart. You don't have to wait for me to come, pop up in front of you, knock on your front door and give you darshan. Within your heart, everything about me, my form, my qualities, my leela, will be completely manifested, revealed in your heart. So this is what a regulated life is ultimately supposed to bring us to. Devotional regulation brings about the pleasure of the Lord, which brings about his manifesting himself in our heart. So Lord Brahma sets another really nice example. Not only did he live this life of great austerity and regulation so that he could gain such Krishna consciousness, but he had another purpose. It wasn't selfish. If we perform austerity, regulation, sadhana, devotional service, study, whatever we do, if we do it with the motive that I'm going to be Krishna conscious, I'm going to please the Lord and have the Lord manifested to me, guess what? Guess what? It ain't going to happen. But that's what Lord Brahma did. I'm just following in his footsteps. Great austerity and all this. Yeah, but why did he do that? He did this not for his own selfish interest, but desiring the highest self-interest for all living entities. Now, we can't give to others that which we don't have ourselves. I'm a beggar. Maharani, could you please give me $1 million? No, she doesn't have $1 million. I can't give to others what I don't have myself. And I can't teach others that which I don't practice myself. So Lord Brahma did all this not for selfish interest, but for the self-interest of all others. So this is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya stands out. This is like, one of the shining qualities of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya that we're so fortunate to be a member of, is that its main activity is bringing the mercy of the Lord to others. Therefore, in this age of Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So I just wanted to look at a few verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela. In chapter 9 of that Adi Leela, Lord Chaitanya is describing, well, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is describing the devotional tree. And then he has Lord Chaitanya speaking. So Krishnadas Kaviraj pens Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking. And Lord Chaitanya laments. Now look at this beautiful devotional tree. And on that tree has manifested very sweet, bright, huge, juicy fruits. And those fruits are pure love of God. And I'm the gardener of that tree. But the difficulty is, how much can one gardener do? How many fruits can I pick? How many fruits can I distribute? So I need help. Can you help me? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes an instruction here. Not a suggestion, but an instruction. And he says, distribute this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Let people eat these fruits and ultimately become free from old age and death. A couple verses later, he speaks this famous verse that Prabhupada likes to quote a lot. Bharata bhumite hoira manushya janmayar janma sartaka karikara anupakara. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatavarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Prabhupada quotes this verse a lot, and he especially likes to quote it when he's preaching in India. Practically, 90% of the lectures Prabhupada's giving to an Indian audience, not just his disciples at the temple. He likes to quote this verse to kind of like put the pressure on the local folks there that this movement was started by one Indian man, he says. One elderly Indian man started this movement, and it has spread all over the world. Just think what could have happened if just a few more people would get on board and assist. So you would always pressure the audience that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if you are so fortunate to have taken birth in the land of Bharata, India, then you must make your life successful and then work for the welfare of others. In a lecture I just heard a few days ago, Prabhupada also quoted this verse. And he said like this, that one who's born in India, or Bharatavarsha, and then he stopped and he said, actually Bharatavarsha doesn't mean India, it means this whole planet. So we shouldn't be thinking, oh, well, I wasn't born in India. It's not my responsibility. Prabhupada said, no, Bharatavarsha doesn't just mean India, it means the whole planet. And then another verse that Prabhupada likes to quote, and this is actually from the 10th canto, 22nd chapter. So Krishnadas Kaviraj quotes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as reciting this verse. Ekta vaj janma saphalyam dehina iha dehishu pranar artar diya vacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. This verse says, it is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, his wealth, his intelligence, and his words. So here, when it says to work for the welfare of others with your life, it actually means your whole life. To dedicate your entire being to the welfare of others. Now, how many of us can do that? How How many of us can dedicate our every atom of our life to working for the spiritual benefit of others? Practically a very, 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 very rare soul. So at least we can dedicate part of our life. Srila Prabhupada, of course. So we're trying to follow in his footsteps. We might be very meagerly doing so, but at least we have that example to hold above our head to follow. And if you can't dedicate your whole life, at least dedicate part of your life. And if you can't really do that, then could you at least dedicate your wealth? And again, this means all of your wealth. Oh, no, I can't dedicate all my wealth attached to it. Okay, well, can you come on Sunday and put a $100 bill in your 100? Oh, I can't do that. Okay, can you put $11 in there? Dedicate something. And then one's intelligence. Can we dedicate all our intelligence to only plotting and scheming about how to practice Krishna consciousness and spread Krishna consciousness? No, our intelligence is used for so many other things. Can you dedicate part of your intelligence? And if you can't even do that, can you at least offer your words? Say something nice about Krishna consciousness. Chant Hare Krishna, something. So, I'm referring to myself, but we are a little impotent when it comes to preaching. We can go and preach till we're blue in the face. But we don't see bhaktas coming in the back door and the front door and through the side windows joining. Why is that? Our potency is a little lacking. So why is our potency? Because we haven't dedicated our whole life, our whole wealth, our whole intelligence, and our whole words to the Sankirtan mission. Now we see somebody like Srila Prabhupada did do that. He didn't keep, life insurance or health insurance or a retirement fund or, whatever. He didn't have a safety net to catch him. He didn't have, family members, children like that to take care of me when I'm old. He didn't have any fallible soldiers set up on the little battlefield there. It was just him and Krishna, and that's it. And that's evidence from, when we could read the Lilamrita, Prabhupada stepping foot on the Jaladita. Of course, before that even, but I'm just saying. From the moment he stepped foot on the Jaladita, he had nothing, a bag of cereal, and 7 rupees, which he could not exchange in America for even a penny. So we don't live on that level. We keep a lot of fallible soldiers on our playboard. And we keep a lot of security blankets in the closet and safety nets and plan B and plan C, just in case Krishna's mercy plan A fails. So because of that, we don't have potency, not enough potency for preaching to ourselves. First and foremost, we have to preach to our mind. Then we have to preach to our fellow devotees, whether through words or through example. And then we can preach to the world. So to increase that potency, which I hope we all want to do, Lord Chaitanya has given the secret that one has to dedicate more and more, improve it, increase it, both quantity and quality, improve it and increase it. The dedication of our life, the dedication of our wealth, the dedication of our intelligence, and the dedication of our speech in the mission of the Sankirtan movement. And then one more verse. By his work, thoughts, and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and the next. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, and this is Lord Brahma's practical example in today's verse. So maybe we'll stop there, see if there's any discussion. Can catch you up.
Yeah, I have a question. So you were saying that if we don't, like if our goal in developing a Krishna consciousness is to become Krishna conscious, then we basically will not become Krishna conscious. Because, like Prahlad Maharaj is an example of how he desires welfare of every living entity, not himself, first of all. So, obviously, all services are on the same level, but we know that still book distribution and preaching is the foremost because it gives direct mercy, like when it's people who are faithless sometimes, or like who don't know anything about Krishna. So if we're not engaged in this kind of activity, how can we genuinely, like, sincerely understand that what we are doing is actually for welfare of everything?
Okay, very good. So first I'd like to say that there's different levels of consciousness. It's not that one's right and one's wrong, it's just gradations of purity. So at first, Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, that some people, they don't even approach me to be empowered to do welfare work to others, nor do they approach me so that they can become Krishna conscious and go back to Godhead, and please Krishna with their service. Nor do they even approach me just to, get liberation. They approach me because they want money. They approach me like Santa Claus, right? Could you give me some money? I'm in this, poverty right now. Or I'm in distress. Can you relieve my distress? The world is so stressful. Please free me from distress. Some just want knowledge. Look, I've got like so many books of philosophy and knowledge. My brain is filled with all this information. And some, they actually want to know about the absolute truth. Not because they're going to surrender, but that's like the lowest level. Some of us approach Krishna consciousness because we don't want to see the Yamadutas. So there's different levels of approaching Krishna. There's different levels of desiring to be Krishna conscious, with different motives, I should say. So it's very good. It's applaudable to want to be Krishna conscious just because I want to be Krishna conscious and get the heck out of here. I want to go to Goloka. Look at that beautiful painting. Wouldn't it be nice to be in Goloka? But it's not the highest. One ultimately will be purified the more we approach Krishna, even because Krishna says that those people who approach me with those material desires that I listed, they're pious because they approach me and they become purified. When you approach the fire, you get warm no matter what your motive was. If you approach Krishna, no matter what your motive was, like the thief who wanted to steal Krishna's jewels, because he heard that there's this boy Krishna who runs around with a bunch of jewels all over his body. And he went and he snuck up and he was going to snatch Krishna's jewels. But then he got purified by approaching Krishna. So all the services that we do are actually for our purification. Even going out on Sankirtan, book distribution. It's really for our purification. When we're actually pure, then because we see with equal vision, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6:32 that he is the perfect yogi. You're not the perfect yogi. Sorry. I appreciate all your gymnastics and everything. You're not the perfect yogi. And you're not the perfect yogi either, even though you do really nice asanas and breathing exercises. He's the perfect yogi. Who? That person who sees all others, their happiness and distress like they view their own. He sees his oneness with all living entities through their happiness and distress. So I can't be happy when I see other people in distress. That was Prahlad Maharaj, right? Paradukaduki. That level of devotee, they can't be happy. Even in Krishna consciousness, they can't be happy with Krishna consciousness, seeing the rest of the world not Krishna conscious. So they either have to go hide in the Himalayan mountains where you don't see the world, you don't hear the news, and you can be in this denial that there is suffering out there, or you have to get on the battlefield and fight Maya. So when we go to battle, Some people are on the front line with their machine guns, bang, bang, bang. Some people are back at the base cooking for the soldiers. Because how long are you going to sit on the front line shooting your gun if you don't get a meal in your belly? If you don't have clean clothes? Or you don't have somebody transporting you from one battlefield to the next battlefield, or whatever that is. And somebody organizing and ordering the supplies and blah, 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 all the stuff that goes on in the back rooms. So it's not just the person who's on the front line shooting the gun, but even the cook in the kitchen, the janitor who cleans the mess hall, everything. So no matter what our service is, pulling weeds out of the garden or fixing the broken roof or worshiping the deity or cooking for the festivals or going out on book distribution, Harinan Sankirtan, everybody should be in the consciousness of, I'm a member of this army, Lord Chaitanya's army, and we're fighting Maya. Prabhupada's our leader, general, and we're all fighting Maya. We're all equally get the credit. The person who pulls the cannonball, pulls the string on the cannon, and the cannonball flies over there and bombs the enemy. Everybody wants to give him the credit for making a good shot. But actually the cook, and the janitor, and the nurse, and whatever, they all get the credit too. Because he couldn't have pulled that string and shot the cannon without that backup. So we have to appreciate each other. The person who mows the lawn, the person who cleans the windows, everything. If we don't appreciate each other's services, then how are we going to appreciate our own service? So it's the consciousness that has to be there. Is that okay?
Yes, I think it has to be.
A couple of things you said, very interesting. When someone who service, they're automatically somehow or other this consciousness comes out, this they're doing it for me or my husband, and I find it very difficult, and I always say, you do this for yourself, not for me. It's just that I'm in the middle trying to engage you or something. That's a good point. That and someone, they always think like that, devotees. I don't know why. I'm doing this for you, like that. Even the children. The next thing I would like to ask, always thinking about food, always wanting to eat good food all the time, all the time. Is that material?
Well, again, there's levels of consciousness. So right now, I want to enjoy Krishna in the form of his prasadam, in the form of, a nice life, association with nice folks, a nice environment, and beautiful visuals, beautiful sounds, music. I'm here to enjoy Krishna. But when I make advancement someday, then I want to bring pleasure to Krishna, not I want Krishna to bring pleasure to me. So again, it's not wrong or bad, it's just not the highest. But that's way, 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 way better than what 99.999% of the world is doing. So we have to fan the spark. Keep fanning it, and the fire will keep growing, eventually become a blazing fire of pure devotion. But yeah, we should measure our motivation, we should examine our motivation. One time at the devotee, there was kirtan, I believe it was Mayapur, but anyway, it doesn't matter. There was a rip-roaring kirtan. It was a fantastic kirtan. The devotees were bouncing off the walls. And afterwards, a devotee told Prabhupada, wow, I really enjoyed that kirtan. And Prabhupada immediately snapped back. Kirtan is not for your pleasure, it's for Krishna's pleasure. We're not there. 5 minutes from now we'll go and have prasadam. Wow, I really like this preparation. I know this is getting... It doesn't mean we don't enjoy, but we're secondary enjoyers. Anything else?
Yeah, just an addition or a trivial point, not questioning it. So there's also, of course, Prabhupada mentioned Bharatavarsha is entire world. Bharatavarsha is entire world. But within the Bharatavarsha there are 5 different khanda. And one of them is Bharata Khanda. There are other khandas as well. So,
I
this
think
says,
there's 7 or 8 khandas in Bharatavarsha.
why?
So one of them is, well, we'll have to look it up, I believe it's 8, and, or 9, because Navadvip is considered one of them. I believe there's 9, and made by the sons of Sagar. And so when we mention Bharatavarsha, it's a little difficult. We got to define our vocabulary when we speak, because sometimes we read about Bharat and it means Bharata Khanda, sometimes it means Bharatavarsha, sometimes it means India, sometimes it means the planet Earth. So
Definitely, I believe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his context, in his times, he mentioned Bharata Bhumi Hoite, Janma. So that is definitely talking about India.
yeah,
Indian subcontinent.
yeah,
But I mean, from a higher perspective, it doesn't matter if it's subcontinent or not. At least Indian subcontinent you had, and because you are born in the culture, you have a high responsibility to.
right,
Doesn't mean others are in any way
Right.
inferior.
right. Yeah, and Prabhupada strongly made that point, especially when he was in India. Anything else? Otherwise we'll stop there. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.